Welcome to the MVP Show. Full show notes for this episode can be found at nz365guide.com/297. Wow, we're getting close to the big 300 mark, 300 episodes. Looking forward to that. Before we start with today's guest, here's a quick message from our sponsors. Today's show is brought to you by the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge. So far, people have attended this program from over 34 countries around the world. And wherever you're located, this is an opportunity to invest in your career. So if you want to get involved, check out my 90-Day Mentoring Challenge. Go to nz365guide.com/mentor. Now, let's get on with the show. Today's guest, MVP, is from Madrid, Spain. He works at AX Azure as a financial and operations developer for Microsoft Dynamics 365. He was awarded the MVP in October of last year. He's also the co-founder and co-host of a podcast called XDev. That's xpp.dev if you want to look that up. So it could be well worth a listen. He loves to be with his dogs and plays with older cameras during his spare time. So I'm interested in finding out a bit more about that. You can follow him on Twitter. Adrià Ariste, welcome to the show.
Hello, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Now, what I'll do is I'll get you to correctly pronounce your name for our listeners. So if they ever talk to you, they get it right.
Yeah, so my name is pronounced Adrià Ariste.
Lovely. And you're in Madrid, Spain.
Yeah, well, actually not anymore. I've lived in Madrid for 8 years, but last November, my girlfriend and I moved just outside Madrid. We are not in the same region, but we are just 45 minutes from Madrid. So it's like I work there, still, because in the end, I work in Madrid. So
are you more north of Madrid, east, west, or south?
I'm more east of Madrid.
East of Madrid. Awesome. Okay. I spent some time there a couple of years ago. I was involved in a thing, I don't know if you've heard it, called Vaughan. Have you heard of that in Madrid?
No.
It's like a English speaking, for Spanish speakers that want to learn English because they work in companies that want to learn English. And it was kind of like an on-site thing. I went and stayed, I think it was a place called Gredos, outside Madrid. It was about an hour, maybe an hour and a half away. And it was next to an amazing castle. And we spent a whole week where you're paired up with Spanish speakers and they can practice English on you. And it was a lot of fun.
I think, is it a TV and radio station, right?
Yeah. The organizers are on TV and radio as well.
That's great.
Yeah, and of course, I got a chance in that time to spend quite a bit of time in Madrid. Found some lovely little bars that served rum, and I love rum, so that was really, really nice. But boy, it can get hot there, can't it?
Yeah, I don't like the hot weather, even though I live in Spain, but I don't like it. So, and summers in Madrid are pretty hot, and especially the night is very hard because temperatures don't go down as much as outside the city, and I've spent some weeks without sleeping there, so I'm a winter lover.
Wow, yeah. So tell me a bit about your family. Where are they from? What part of Spain? And what do you do kind of when you're not working?
Well, I'm not from Madrid. I'm from near Barcelona, a city called Lleida. And I moved to Madrid, I think it was almost 10 years ago now. And, I live with my girlfriend in a small town, just 45 minutes out from Madrid. And we are in the middle of the country, and it's a great change moving from a big city like Madrid to a place where there's like 2,000 people living. But it's lovely. I love the difference, especially during the times we are living. It's much better.
So what's your favorite food that you eat in Spain, or that you recommend if guests come? This is the food you recommend they try in Spain.
If I should recommend or something, maybe I would tell the people to just go to a bar and ask for some tapas.
Nice.
Just forget about paella, because unless you are in the coast, and especially in the Valencia area, you won't eat real paella. So if you come to Madrid or near, go to a bar and ask for tapas. There's a dish called patatas bravas, which is spicy potatoes, and also a pork ear, which is really tasty and good. And I would just recommend that. And this way they can taste several dishes instead of just focusing on one thing.
I like it. So what do you do when you're not working? Are you into gaming or anything like that?
Yeah, I've been playing World of Warcraft for 14 years. Yeah, since almost the beginning. But the let's say the hardcore times for me are long gone, because it's a very demanding game in speaking on time. And if you work, if you have family, World of Warcraft is not very possible to combine all these things.
Yeah.
But
so
I
true,
play
so
from
true.
time to time.
Nice. So you're in the finance and operations side of bizaps, is that right?
Yep.
How did you get into it?
By chance. That's the that's how I got into this. I mean, when I was studying in university, I did a summer course about something called Accepta, which it's the old name, because there's been more name changes. And during a month, I learned about it, but I forgot about Accepta for 2 years until I finished my degree. And then after finishing university, I just started sending resumes to companies, and the first one that called me is a partner, Microsoft partner, that worked with Accepta Dynamics AX, and I started working just by chance. And I'm really happy of this, because right now I love my I love my job, and I love the product.
Wow, that's incredible. Like that, your whole career has now been focused on it. Do what are your thoughts around the changes? It's now, what is it called? Dynamics 365 Finance? What it was formerly Exapta or AX?
Yeah, Accepta. It was the original name. I think it wasn't the original name. It had other names, but I started with Accepta. And on the version 3.0, Microsoft bought the original company, and from 3.0 it was Microsoft Dynamics Accepta, then Dynamics AX, and in the last 5 years, since we got inside the Dynamics 365 product line, let's say, there's been a lot of name changes. Originally, it was called AX7, then Dynamics 365 for finance and operations, and there were Enterprise Edition. they took out the enterprise edition part, and now the ERP is being sold. The licensing is done in the finance part, and the operations is supply chain management. And there's also Dynamics 365 Commerce, which is the retail product. And then there's mixed products with CRM, like the project operations and HR. So, but I'm on the classic side with finance and operations.
Right. So you're stuck with the core kind of technology.
As I said, we are now inside the Dynamics 365 world, but we are a bit of we are different because we are not using Dataverse yet. We are still using the programming language is called X++, and we are a bit of the new kids on the Dynamics 365 group, and I think that the plans, Microsoft plans, are just moving us into what people from the Power Platform and CRM products are more used to. So I guess that sometime we will start using Dataverse too.
Do you think that at any point, because I know it's been floated before when it was called CDS and things like that, do you think that there will be a point where Dynamics 365 Finance is fully running on the Dataverse?
Yeah, there's a session of Sunil Garg, which is a program manager for Dataverse, and he talks about this, and the plans are moving us into Dataverse in some way, but still, of course, keeping the two different products, the old CRM and finance and operations, still a bit different, but slowly moving us into maybe the same databases, the same tools. But I think this is quite a long process.
Yeah. I mean, one of the issues, my understanding was around the data models between the two are quite different, right? And so there needs to be more of an alignment around some of the data models, which I suppose will come in time. But yeah, I don't see it happening this year.
No. Maybe 3-5 years. Because the problem here is that the ERP has a transactional model on the database, because we are storing lots of transactions from inventory transactions, ledger transactions. So as you said, that the data model is very different than the one from CRM. So I guess that what the idea maybe is just move our data model inside Dataverse and keep it there. But at least it will be easier to access data from the CRM and to the ERP, and both systems to communicate easier. So you can go to a customer and tell them, we are selling a Dynamics 365, and it's a product, not what is happening now, that you need to create some integrations or processes to move data from one system to the other. At least we've got the dual write and the virtual entities now. But so when you tell the customer, oh, but we need to do these integrations between the two systems. Like, what? I bought Dynamics 365. Isn't it a single product? More or less.
Yeah, it is confusing. Totally confusing. Tell us a bit about your podcast, and who is the audience that you target for that podcast, and how you got started with it.
So I host the podcast with my colleague Juan Antonio Tomás, and the idea, because mm, the community from finance operations in Spain is quite small, and we'd like it to be more like the Power Platform, CRM, all that product. That the community for the CRM and Power Platform is huge. So we want it's a Spanish-speaking podcast, and we want to try to grow the community with it. And it's mainly for technical people, it's developers. But the idea is to grow the community.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. So you're not only targeting, I take it, those in Spain, but you've got Mexico as well. And I mean, there'd be a great listener base in the US. How long have you been running?
We started, I think, in June last year. We've recorded 10 episodes, but we're still going on.
Yeah. And it is a constant learning process. So where can people subscribe to that podcast so they can take a listen?
So the easiest thing is just go to xpp.dev, and there's links there, but they can listen it on Spotify, on Apple Music, on Google Podcast, and I think that's all. Most of the people use Spotify here.
Yeah, totally makes sense. How did you become an MVP? What was that path for you? I see it's just happened in the last 12 months, so it's been in the COVID world, and you wouldn't have had the opportunities to necessarily do as much speaking, but I also see that you spoke recently at Scottish Summit, which is fantastic, and the Power Platform boot camp in Glacier. Tell us about your journey to becoming an MVP.
Well, I think all of this started when I started working at Accenture. The CEO is Antonio Gilabert, which is another MVP. And he has transmitted not only me, but all the company, that doing things for the community is important. And this is good not only for the community, but also for us as professionals. And it's not something mandatory to do, but and I mean, you just do it because you feel like doing it. And so I started a blog 2 years ago, and one day we were asked, do you want to present a session in Dynamic Saturday in Madrid? And I had never in my life spoken at an event, and my thought was, who wants to listen to me? And I presented a session with my colleague Juan Antonio, and it was great. And since then, we have both of us presented several other sessions, and you need to. We like it. It's like you need to spend time to prepare the sessions, but it's also rewarding because you see that there's people that have some interest in what you're telling, which it was my fear that who will listen to me? Come on. And after some time, I got nominated, and the first time I wasn't awarded, but then I was nominated again, and in October last year, I received the famous email, and wow, yeah.
It's a good feeling, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So I know Damien in your team.
Yeah.
Because he's always been on the CRM side, which is my background on the Power Platform, and great guy. In fact, when I was in Madrid that time, I met up with him for lunch. So he's a good friend, and what a great company to work for.
Yeah, the truth is, it's very, very good. I'm very happy with. I mean, Several years ago, I had like a dilemma, like, what am I doing with my life? I'm programming for an ERP because I don't know anybody that when finishing the university or studies about something, development studies, whatever, thought, I want to be an ERP developer. I don't know nobody.
Correct.
But after starting to learn about Dynamics 365, the new version from AX, I was working on an end client, and then I saw a job offer from Azure, and I joined the company. And as I said earlier, I'm very happy now with my career starting, my professional career starting as an ERP developer, because working with Dynamics 365, the ERP part right now is really fun. If developing an ERP can be fun.
I love it. I love it. Well, look at this. We're already over 20 minutes. I feel like I could talk about so many things with you. Before I let you go, I always like to answer or ask some quickfire questions, which are very random. And because, English is your second language, sometimes they don't translate well, but we'll give it a go. How does that sound?
Okay, that's right.
Okay. Here's the first one. What's the worst job you've ever had?
Being an ERP developer.
I love it.
Not now.
No. What's one thing you did in your past that you wish you could go back and undo?
I wouldn't undo nothing.
Awesome. Good response. I like that. Who's someone you really admire?
I don't admire people a lot, and maybe some people from sports. Like I admire a lot Michael Jordan. Not so much now, but maybe some musicians. But I'm not like an idol person.
Yeah. Would you rather play for Real Madrid or Barca?
I don't like football, but if I had to choose,
not?
If I had to choose, because I do like basketball, I would choose Barca.
Wow, very good. If you can compete in one Olympic event, what would it be?
Weightlifting.
Wow, nice. And finally, what's your dream job if money didn't matter? If you could do anything you want, become an astronaut, didn't matter what it was, what would you do?
Becoming an astronaut would be great, but I don't like flying very much. I tolerate it. So maybe, I don't know. I like my job.
So to be an AX developer, I love it. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I look forward to getting this published. Thanks again. Folks, make sure you check out his podcast and take the opportunity to engage with Adrià directly. Thanks again.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as I did, learning more about Dynamics 365 Finance and the path to becoming an MVP. So exciting, in the Spanish market this time. Please like and subscribe in your favorite podcast player. If you want to leave a review to the show, go to nz365guy.com/review, and there's all the options that you can leave a review. Otherwise, stay safe out there and see you next time.